Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. Decided to do my weekly rant. Now, this weekly rant is a little different than I normally do. Normally, I'm in a car or I'm on my way to somewhere. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to talk about. But it's a topic that's been on my mind for a while. I talked to a friend about it a couple days ago. We discussed basically, would you date you? And the reason I asked that question is because a lot of times, everybody asks, "Oh, why are you single?" Or, "You seem like a great guy," and this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking to myself, like, for every good guy that's out there, there's somebody that's sick of that person. But that person might not even know that they have all these issues or insecurities or all this baggage that comes with dating themselves. So I sat back and I asked myself that question. I said, given the situation that you're currently in and your financial state, your emotional state, your mental state, everything about you, if you were to take yourself on a date and you just lay it all out there, after the date, would you call yourself back? Think on that for a minute. A lot of times we sit and we ask, I don't know if you believe in a higher power, but I believe in the Lord. We ask the Lord, "Oh, send me this person, but I don't like this. I don't like that. They can't be this tall. They can't be short. They can't be fat. They can't be skinny. They can't be this. They gotta have this. They got." And you sit there and you wonder, do you have all that stuff? Is the person you described what you're bringing to the table? We have unrealistic expectations for what we want in a spouse or a partner, but we don't ourselves have that exact same list of qualities. And then you also got to think about it too. They can't be too old. They can't be too young. They can't be this. They can't be that. But you're praying. You're praying. You're asking for all this stuff, and you're weeding out potential great influences in your life because you've narrowed that down to an unworkable number. And then you also got to think about it too is, does that person actually exist that you're looking for? Or is this just a figment of your imagination? Because I've learned in my 31 years of living that if you have to compromise sometimes. I'm not saying that you lower your expectations by all means. I'm not saying that because everybody's entitled to what they want. But you also have to be realistic in your expectations as well. Because somebody took a chance on you, regardless of whatever situation you may be in. And that may not have been exactly the right move for that person at that time, but they saw something in you that probably gave them the okay to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to try to give this person a chance." A lot of times we block our blessings or we block someone that could potentially be great for us because we have put everybody into this little perfect box. I'm going to let you know, tap on the thing, you're not perfect. And you shouldn't want to be perfect. You should be the best that you can be, but also you have to bring substance to what you're looking for. So when you're making this list of the people who you don't want to date, make another list of, okay, what qualities do I have? Because if your stuff isn't together, you can expect to attract somebody that has their stuff together, if that makes any sense. Because regardless of what you think about, birds of a feather flock together. So if you don't have these qualities and all these attributes that you're looking for in a mate, then that bird is not going to flock to you because you don't have those qualities, if that makes any sense. So I'm a firm believer on dating yourself, finding out what is it about you that makes you great, that makes you that person that somebody wants to take to the next level. Once you figure out what baggage you bring to the table, what attributes you have, what qualities, good, bad, and indifferent, and you're able to look at yourself unbiased and say, "Hey, I have these issues, I have these things that are great," you will never ever be able to track that person that's for you. And notice I didn't say perfect person. I said track that person that's for you. Because I firmly believe there's somebody out there for everyone. And we may have crossed paths with that person in our lives. But we're so jaded in all these expectations that we have of what's perfection that we probably have blocked that person from our lives because we haven't got to really discover ourselves. You have to be in love with you first before you can be in love with somebody else, or you can allow somebody to love you. Because at the end of the day, you're bringing in all of your stuff into a situation with somebody else who's also coming into a situation with you with all of their stuff, and you guys got to try to piece that thing together to make it a united front. So you think about what kind of baggage I have accumulated over my 31 years of living, and I'm going to bring that into a potential relationship. One of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody says, "Oh, when I'm in a relationship, I expect you to be 50-50. You bring 50%, does that make any sense? The math doesn't add up. Why would you want half of what somebody has to offer you? It shouldn't be 50-50. In a relationship, it should be 100%. 100%. You bring 100% of yours, and I bring 100% of mine, and we put that thing together, and we become a dynamic force. I also don't like when people say, "Oh, I'm gonna give you 110%." I don't want 110%. How can you give me 110% of 100? I want 100% of you, and I'm gonna bring you 100% of me. Also, we can't be sneaky, right? We start dating people, right? And we start hiding all this stuff, right? Like packing it away in the back of our little mind, like, "Oh, I dropped this little nugget here. I dropped this little nugget here." You need to know what you're getting into. I would expect somebody to be honest with me up front about anything that I'm going through, so that anything that they're going through, so that I can make a determination on whether or not I want to continue down this journey. Because nothing sucks worse than taking a journey with somebody and then you get to a speed bump that you should have known about when you first got in the car and started that journey, if that makes any sense. Why wait till I get to my halfway mark where I feel like, dang, this could potentially be something, and then I start dropping all these little bombs and little stuff over there, and it ends something that could have potentially been a great thing. Now, I'm not saying that you you let go of all your emotional baggage and you cry boohoo snotting and all that stuff with the person that you're trying to date or get to know or whatever. But I still think that the important stuff, that main stuff that you normally try to sneak and hide and drop on down the line, that kind of stuff, that stuff should be brought up front. Because at the end of the day, let that person determine whether or not this is a journey that they want to go on with you, and be honest about it. But don't put yourself in a box. Don't sit here and tell yourself that you want all of these things and it's not obtainable. So basically, you're saying that you want to be single forever, because the person that we've built up in our minds is not probably out there. Somebody's close to it, may have a lot of those traits, but they're not going to have them all. And you wouldn't expect somebody to have it all. And please don't enter a relationship thinking you can change somebody, because I'm telling you, once you meet somebody and they've been down a journey. Like I said, I'm 31 years old. I've been down 31 years of a journey of my own. So I'm pretty much set in the ways that I am. So somebody trying to date me think, "Oh, well, I'm gonna date him, but then I'm gonna change this about him," and you can't change somebody that doesn't want to be changed. They can adapt, they can compromise, they can even kind of bend and flex a little bit. But what they're not going to do is they're not going to change, because that is their innate behavior. That's their environment. That we are a product of our environment. And also, when you're dating somebody, get to know their friends. Find out who they hang out with. If they got one or two good friends that they hang out with, look at the attributes and qualities of those 2 3 friends that they have that they hang out with. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason why they hang out together. If they're okay with cheating, and the friends, I'm talking about the friends, if the friend is okay with some cheating and turning up all the time and no priorities, no goals, 9 times out of 10, that person that you're trying to get to know and date is probably about that too. Somewhere it may not show itself on the surface, but it's down there in the epidermis, way down deep in the cusp, and you may not want to be with that person. Somebody was like, "Oh, when I'm dating such and such, I'm not dating their friends, I'm dating them." No, you're dating everybody that's in their environment, because they're a product of who they hang around with. Guilty by association. Like it or love it, you attract what you give. So I know I rambled on for about 10 minutes now, but I just want to get that off my chest. When you're thinking about all these things in your life, look back and think, would I date me? And if that answer is no, reevaluate yourself. and your expectations and make yourself that person that you would date. So therefore, when you're out here, I'm not saying looking for love or whatever, or when love finds you, you already set in your ways and you know what you're comfortable with and what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. So therefore that person is given a fair chance. You can't judge somebody new off old experiences because we're human beings. There's no human that is exactly the same at all. So I can't compare my ex to somebody that I'm currently dating or that I've dated. Now I can see attributes and qualities in this potential person that I saw that I didn't like before, but I shouldn't dictate that before. I tell everybody that I'm meeting friendship wise, dating wise, whatever, you enter this agreement with me with a blank sheet of paper, blank, white, nothing on it. And I hand you a pen to fill that piece of paper out. That's all your attributes, actions, whatever you bring to the table. I'm marking down in pen, not pencil, because pencil you can erase. I'm talking about pen. And I allow that person to tell me their story based on the actions that they give me. And I let it go. I'm a true Libra off gate. If I don't like something or something just not for me, deuce, you got to go. Because we get to a certain point in our life where we're looking for that forever. And we don't have time to be kissing all these frogs while we're trying to find that prince or princess. So take that into consideration. Look yourself in the mirror. Do a hard look at yourself and say, if I was to take myself on a date, would I go out on a second date with me?